Welcome to the first annual Coal Miners Bass Fishing Tournament, sponsored by Wolf Williams and Reynolds and Watson's Marine.
The coal miner. When God made him, he broke the mold. A man so brave he would crawl underneath a mountain in darkness that only he can understand. The coal miner is a man that, with the strength of his hands, his back, and bending knees, used a pick and shovel to earn a living from the company store. The coal miner's real strength is his heart, his bond with his fellow miners, his humble prayer to the good Lord for each time he sees the light of day. But most of all, it's his family that greets a man that is almost unrecognizable from coal dust with a heartfelt kiss and an offer from a young son to help him with his boots to save his aching back. Because, after all, he wants to be a coal miner too. Yes, when God made the coal miner, he broke the mold.
Since the 1880s, hard-working coal miners have played a vital part in the building of America. The coal mine in the Tennessee Valley was used by the nearby Watts Bar Fossil Plant, a coal-fired plant used to generate electricity to produce steel and concrete. In turn, that steel and concrete was used to construct Cherokee Dam on the Holston River in order to prevent flooding and generate hydroelectricity. Both the coal-fired plant and the Cherokee Dam were projects of the Tennessee Valley Authority, which started in the early 1940s to help meet the urgent demands for energy during the outbreak of World War II. That partnership of coal-powered and hydroelectricity provided the power to win the war and help build the American dream. The coal miners of today still value that energy partnership by continuing to meet the energy needs of the nation while enjoying one of the greatest pastimes, a unique part of living in the mountains, bass fishing on the Cherokee Lake. Bass fishermen from several surrounding states gathered this past October for the inaugural Coal Miners Open Bass Fishing Tournament. It was sponsored by the law firm of Wolf Williams and Reynolds and Watson's Marine. The event was one of the largest bass fishing tournaments of the year. The tournament was started to honor current and former coal miners for their hard work and service to this region.
I think we had a total of 74 boats show up today. Many of those boats had coal miners in them, and we just want to say thanks to all the coal miners from Wolf Williams and Reynolds for all of the hard work that you've done and all of the things you've done for this area.
The one-day tournament, two-person per boat format, began at 7 a.m. with the official blast-off of the 74 teams.
Okay.
Good morning. On behalf of Wolf Williams and Reynolds and Watson's Marine, I'd like to welcome you all to the Coal Miners Open. We want to remind everyone that after the tournament there will be some giveaways, so keep your raffle tickets. We want to wish you all good luck and be safe.
The damp 50-degree windy conditions seemed much colder at 7 a.m. as one by one the 74 boat teams blasted off from the Hamblin County Public Boat Ramp.
All right, guys, good luck. Be careful. Line number 2, come on up here. Line number 2, 3. You guys get lined up. Let's ease by me real slowly. Good luck, man. Thank you. 28!
Cherokee Lake was named for the Cherokee, a Native American tribe that controlled much of East Tennessee when the first European settlers arrived in America. It was built in the 1940s. The Cherokee Dam has a generating capacity of over 135,200 kilowatts. So how high is the Cherokee Dam? Is it 75 feet, 125 feet, or 175 feet? The answer when we come back.
The coal miner. When God made him, he broke the mold. A man so brave he would crawl underneath a mountain in darkness that only he can understand. The coal miner is a man that, with the strength of his hands, his back, and bending knees, used a pick and shovel to earn a living from the company store. The coal miner's real strength is his heart, his bond with his fellow miners, his humble prayer to the good Lord for each time he sees the light of day. But most of all, it's his family that greets a man that is almost unrecognizable from coal dust, with a heartfelt kiss and an offer from a young son to help him with his boots to save his aching back, because, after all, he wants to be a coal miner too. Yes, when God made the coal miner, he broke the mold.
Welcome back. The answer? C. 175 feet. Construction on the Cherokee Dam began August 1st, 1940, and it opened on December the 5th, 1941, 2 days prior to the bombing of Pearl Harbor. It didn't take long after the rising sun and projected 75-degree temperatures for the anglers to trade their overalls and jackets to short sleeves and sunglasses.
A lot of different strategies going on out here right now. You've still got some deep fish out here, and people are jigging and those kinds of things to get a little deeper fish, and then the fish are beginning to chase the shad and back up into these coves and creeks in the back of them, getting shallower, and so they're using different techniques and presentations to catch them that way. And it is kind of a game of time, just in minutes and things, because you've got a set amount of time and a lot of areas to cover, and you have to sort of figure out where the fish are and what they're going to bite. So you're sort of limited once you get on it, you know, to get your fish in the boat.
Clear skies and higher than normal water temperatures made fishing tough for a lot of the anglers.
Occasionally, especially this time of year, you'll have things that limit you what you can do, and like starting with the weather and fog and those kinds of things, and sometimes they're delayed, and we've had guys go out and try to see if the fog's clearing out in the middle of the lake. And I've had people go out and you can hear them out there circling around and they're lost in the fog and those kinds of things.
Many were hoping to take advantage of the early morning topwater bite, but they found few fish in their live wells by noon. As temperatures continued to rise, most anglers turned to crankbaits and drop baits in an attempt to limit out on a day when many did not.
A day on the lake is better than a good day at work, and we've got 5 or 6 lakes within an hour drive of Bristol, and they're loaded with fish, and you just have to figure out how to catch them, and some of these guys are real good at it.
Bass are the most popular game fish in the United States, and they're found in lakes, reservoirs, ponds, rivers, creeks, and streams. Some of the most popular species include the largemouth, the smallmouth, and spotted or Kentucky bass. Black bass are known for their strength, and they're aggressive fighters when hooked. Bass are both scent and visual predators. They can adapt to a wide range of temperatures, from around freezing to steamy summer waters, even though they prefer warmer waters. Ask any veteran bass fisherman, and they'll tell you that bass are smart critters with good memories and an uncanny ability to learn what bait or lure almost got them. Bass also boast a row of pores that allows them to sense even low-frequency vibrations in the waters around them. This lateral line system helps the fish to both avoid predators and find a meal even in dark water. Bass are believed to like the color red, which they can see better than any other color. Bass fishing is a uniquely American sport with practical beginnings. The origins of bass fishing began with the need to simply put food on the table. The United States experienced a boom in recreational bass fishing after World War II, with the stocking of largemouth bass in ponds, lakes, and smallmouth bass in lakes and rivers. As spinning reels and rods became popular, other technical innovations like monofilament lines, fiberglass, and graphite rods, artificial lures, and even boats designed specifically for bass fishing gave greatly to this American pastime. The Bass Angler Sportsman Society is now the world's largest fishing organization. Not only has it changed bass fishing into a sport that generates millions of dollars every year, but it has also helped introduce legislation to keep America's fishing waters pristine and promote good stewardship of the environment. The Bass Organization boasts membership of more than 600,000 in the United States and around the globe, with multiple tournament sponsorships paying out millions of dollars in prize money.
There's a lot of competition amongst the guys that are in it. It's sort of a little clique. You've got people that are in this have done it for a long time, and a lot of new people coming into it. There's different things about it that makes it appealing. There's just something about being outside and doing this kind of thing, and then the excitement of it when you do catch a fish, and then especially a good one. And you come in, there's some gratification, you know, that you've got your limit, and then when you get in there, the anticipation of whether or not you've got, you know, the biggest limit, and then of course the money. It does pay to win the things, and they've got typically 7 or 8 hours to come out, and I guess they're trying to catch their 5 biggest fish, bring the 5 biggest fish that they catch into the weigh-in, which we'll have in the afternoon around 3 o'clock or 3:30, and that determines the winner.
Time now for another quiz. Which country leads the world in coal production? Is it A, China, B, the United States, or C, India? The answer when we come right back.
The coal miner. When God made him, he broke the mold. A man so brave he would crawl underneath a mountain in darkness that only he can understand. The coal miner is a man that, with the strength of his hands, his back, and bending knees, used a pick and shovel to earn a living from the company store. The coal miner's real strength is his heart, his bond with his fellow miners, his humble prayer to the good Lord for each time he sees the light of day. But most of all, it's his family that greets a man that is almost unrecognizable from coal dust with a heartfelt kiss and an offer from a young son to help him with his boots to save his aching back. Because, after all, he wants to be a coal miner too. Yes, when God made the coal miner, he broke the mold.
Welcome back. The answer, surprisingly, is A, China. China produces over 3,050 million metric tons of coal per year, with the United States a distant second, with 973 million metric ton per year.
Hi, I'm David Long. I'm with Boone Lake Bass Club, and we're here at the first annual bass tournament sponsored by Wolf, Williams, and Reynolds and Watson Marine on Cherokee Lake in the fall. And it's about weigh-in time, and we're expecting all the boats to come in here, and shortly we're going to begin weighing the fish as the boaters come in with their fish. As the boaters come in, they'll put their boats on the trailer if they blast it off from this point, and bring their fish down here to the scales, and we will measure the fish, and at that point we'll weigh them and put their weights down on the scoreboard and take some pictures of them, hopefully.
Yes.
2 fish.
Nope, 6.
Total weight 3.19. 3.19.
Three fast.
Too little. I see 4, yeah.
Too little. One's hiding. Let's get a big fish.
All right, this for the big fish.
I don't know, this mission here might be bigger.
2.53 on the big fish. Hang on, son. We've talked to a few people out on the water out there, and the what few we have talked to, they seem to be catching some fish, and I don't really know what to expect. This time of year, it can be feast or famine. I'm actually expecting them to probably have some pretty good catches brought in, and I think we're going to see that. There's 71 boats in this tournament, and there'll probably be, there's some people have left early, I guess because they haven't caught any fish or not very many fish. But I believe that there will be some come in that's going to have a pretty good load of fish. Here's your big fish. 3.87. 3.87.
3.87.
Yeah, that's good.
Here's her total weight. 7.87. 7.87.
7.87.
Generally, you know, these types of tournaments, these guys are all semi-professional. They do this on a regular basis, and usually if the fish are biting, it's a pretty even thing across the board that, you know, everyone's going to have some fish when they bring them in here. You've always got a few that miss it and don't have any, but for the most part, it's pretty even across the board what they bring in. 4.43, 4.43. We're paying out, I think, 12 places. We're paying out money for the biggest fish caught of the day. And again, the first place would be the most weight of the 5 fish that they're allowed to bring in. Total weight, about 22, 4.48, 4.48. After that, when it's all said and done, we'll determine the winner by the biggest weight.
The first commercial coal mine in the United States started around the year 1730. Now, in which town was that mine located? Was it Harlan, Kentucky, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or Midlothian, Virginia? The answer, when we come back.
The coal miner. When God made him, he broke the mold. A man so brave he would crawl underneath a mountain in darkness that only he can understand. The coal miner is a man that, with the strength of his hands, his back, and bending knees, used a pick and shovel to earn a living from the company store. The coal miner's real strength is his heart, his bond with his fellow miners, his humble prayer to the good Lord for each time he sees the light of day. But most of all, it's his family that greets a man that is almost unrecognizable from coal dust with a heartfelt kiss and an offer from a young son to help him with his boots to save his aching back. Because, after all, he wants to be a coal miner too. Yes, when God made the coal miner, he broke the mold.
Welcome back. The answer to the quiz? C. Midlothian, Virginia. Midlothian was named for Midlothian Mining and Manufacturing Company, and its coal is credited with heating the White House during the Thomas Jefferson administration.
Everybody's been waiting for this. So first place with a payout of $2,310, boat number 50, weighing in at 16 pounds, 16.09, is Daniel Taylor and William Jobright. All right, second place, taking home $1,200, was boat 16, weighing in at 12.64, Brent Grimm and Bobby Dryden. Thanks, sir. Sir. Third place, taking home $800, weighing in at 11.23, was boat 72, Matt Dillard and Sean Hudson. Yes, sir. Thanks for coming. In fourth place, taking home $700, weighing in at 11.01, was boat 67, Hunter Hamilton and Ben Tullock. In fifth place, taking home $600 today, weighing in at 8.62, boat 64, Rusty Pope and Jason Chontis. In sixth place, taking home $400, weighing in at 7.87, was boat 2, Christian Nichols and Brian Blevins. In seventh place, taking home $300, weighing in at 7.34, was boat 68, William Austin and Joe Buchanan. In eighth place, taking home $200, weighing in at 7.26, was boat 66, Danny Skelton and Danny Skelton II. In ninth place, taking home $100, weighing in at 7.12, was boat 21, Travis Shelley and Butch Brown. Thank you, sir. Congrats. In 10th place, also taking home $100, weighing at 7.04, boat 75, Derek Ward, Jeremy Toney. In 11th place, taking home $100, weighing in at 6.72, boat 61, Michael Kahn and Daniel Kahn. Congrats. In 12th place, taking home $100, weighing in at 6.50, boat number 10, Thomas Mullins and Tommy Mullins. Thank you, sir. And finally, the big fish. Today's weight 4.48, boat 69, Van Grigsby and Bobby Johnson. $400 for big fish. Thank you, sir. Congrats.
to give back and say thank you to the miners for all the hard work that they've done. It meant a lot to us, and I know it meant a lot to the Boone bass anglers, whom I'd specifically like to thank, because they ran a very, very well put together tournament. Everything went very well, better than expected really. There were no dead fish weighed in, there were no penalties. They ran a very tight tournament, and we just couldn't be more pleased with the showing and with the weather and the camaraderie among the anglers. It was just a great time here today, and we just want to say thanks to all the coal miners from Wolf, Williams, and Reynolds for all of the hard work that you've done and all of the things you've done for this area. Thank you.
Wolf, Williams, and Reynolds has become well known for helping the working men and women of this region. More than anything, they're probably known as the firm to go to for black lung benefits. Thousands of coal miners have trusted Joe Wolf and the attorneys of Wolf, Williams, and Reynolds throughout the years. Sponsoring the first ever Coal Miners Bass Fishing Tournament is just another way that Wolf, Williams, and Reynolds is giving back to the men and women who built coal country.
The coal miner. When God made him, he broke the mold. A man so brave he would crawl underneath a mountain in darkness that only he can understand. The coal miner is a man that, with the strength of his hands, his back, and bending knees, used a pick and shovel to earn a living from the company store. The coal miner's real strength is his heart, his bond with his fellow miners, his humble prayer to the good Lord for each time he sees the light of day. But most of all, it's his family that greets a man that is almost unrecognizable from coal dust with a heartfelt kiss and an offer from a young son to help him with his boots to save his aching back, because, after all, he wants to be a coal miner too. Yes, when God made the coal miner, he broke the mold.
A young person that's interested in getting in bass fishing, find somebody an older person that's fished, join a club, bass club. Or when you join a club, you're in there to get information and learn how to do it. These older guys that's been fishing for years, they can show you a lot.
What keeps me coming back for more is just the thought of maybe on this cast I'll catch the biggest fish I've ever caught in my life. And you know, there's been times where I've been ready to go in, and you know, and I said, well, I'm going to make 5 more casts, and then you'll catch a big one on that 5th cast, and then of course you'll make 5 more, and you'll stay out there all night. But you just never know, and it's that. You know, you never know what's below the surface, and you never know when you're going to hook the big one. And when you do hook the big one, it's an exhilarating feeling, and it keeps you coming back for more. So that's what I love about bass fishing.
This has been highlights of the first annual Coal Miners Bass Fishing Tournament, sponsored by Wolf, Williams, and Reynolds, along with Watson's Marine. Make your plans now to attend next year's fishing tournament.